small bird. Hey. These people do not understand. I'm moving as fast as I can, sending my prayers to God. He doing whatever he can.
Sour boner, black folks. What's good with you? Welcome to Smith the Speaker Boy. It's my channel. Before we get into it, hey, hit that like, hit the subscribe. Man, I'm consistent. There's two Mondays in a row. Mannish Monday. What's up? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? It's that vibe thing. You really got to feel it. So it's 6 o'clock. Man, what's up? Look, man. Look, I got things going on with my speaker. This is like real microphone. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do some maintenance work on it as we speak, but it's all good. We're gonna make it happen. I don't have a crew. It's a one-man show around here. You know what I'm saying? Consistency, man, is a good thing. So I got to get back into that swing of thing. Welcome to Mannish Monday. I'm your boy Smith, the speaker. That's how we do. That's my new thing right now. I'm trying to, again, trying to be relevant, trying to evolve. Like I said before, I started with a podcast and, did some other stuff here. Shout out to, man, because talking about like, how all of this just evolved organically. Shout out to my player partners, Shannon and Troy. We have the third show. If you don't know about that, go check out my boys, man. We on YouTube. It's floating around here on YouTube somewhere. The third show. Yeah. We was doing yes, sir. But here we are. Welcome. Hope everybody is well. Hope you've done what you had to do, your due diligence to stay healthy and be healthy, and not just in the physical sense, but the emotional sense. You know what I'm saying? The mental part of life. Even the most mundane things can get you out of spirit, get you out of focus. Whether it's work, whether it's financial responsibilities, whether it's parental responsibilities, whether you run a business, whether you run a nonprofit, or you're serving the people somehow, some way, and just life in general, just being life. You know what I'm saying? The one thing I've always tried to tell my kids is if life was easy, it wouldn't be fun. You know what I'm saying? So make the most of it, if you can, and what comes your way. And with that, it's crazy how today unfolded. Really didn't really have a topic other than Mannish Monday and doing man and talk about man things that affect black men and our lived experience and our journeys. And then of course, we get the news about Malcolm Jamal Warner. I'm not gonna sit here and say I know the man. I'm not gonna sit here and make try to piggyback his excellence, his greatness, his gifts. Now, unfortunately, untimely exit physically from this earth. So I want to do that, but I do want to just recognize as a man, as a black man, and dude, like let me not say, I don't want to say he was the first young bruh, uh, but in that kind of setting. So for me, you know, um, I believe the first bruhs, young cats in that frame, shown in that frame, were Michael and JJ Evans. You know what I'm saying? Um, we talk about family dynamics. It was different. It wasn't different. The environment of the family, of the black family, were different from Good Times to the Cosby Show. That's all it was. It was still black families dealing with life, but then just in different socioeconomic structures and confinements and rules of engagement. So when I seen Theodore Huxtable, about my age, you know what I'm saying? Um, cause I seen it all on Twitter today, like the Gordon Goutreau shirt, like that episode. Every young person, regardless of your gender, uh, understands like being I don't know what the I don't like in like hip, like with it, like man, juvenile peer pressure is insane. You know what I'm saying? And capitalism capitalizes on that, because if one person got it, and everybody got to get it. So that particular episode, will always be valuable. And then also, I think it was one of the first, maybe a pilot episode, or maybe the first one, two, three episode, where Cliff, uh, Bill Cosby, got sent upstairs to talk to him. You know, he wasn't doing good grades. Boy had bad grades. He goes into the room. The room is a mess. He's got pictures. If I'm not mistaken, there's a picture of Muhammad Ali, if I'm not mistaken, up on the wall. There's a lot of things on that wall that are topics of discussion of their own because of, we're talking 1984. You know what I'm saying? Um, and basically, Cliff went up there to threaten him, go hit him with a bat, all of these things. And Theo wanted to drop out of school. So, that moment of having a black father talk to his black son about life, or again, is another phenomenal episode, uh, for that. And so, Malcolm, man, like I said, grew up with that cat. Like every Thursday night, clockwork, watch the Cosby Show. No telling what him and Cockroach is going to get into, whether he was on a dance show, you know what I'm saying, or trying to get the car, or whatever they was doing. Then you watch the evolution. Man, this is powerful now that I get to talking about it, because you watch you watch Theo, or Malcolm, uh, evolve on the screen in front of us. And, he dealt with some challenges in school, and then he becomes an educator. Fascinating, right? Going to college, being a role model to Kenny. Like, that's not even discussed, but he was a role model to Kenny. Let that one sink in. And then, he becomes the big brother, so to speak, to all those young cats, at the school, in the program he was doing. And then also to the cousin, man, I forget her. I can't remember her name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And she came in, and he was kind of like a big brother, kind of slash big cousin kind of, figure. So, man, that dude did a lot of things, man, and a lot of it hit home for a lot of us. And it's just unfortunate that we have to talk about it that way. We always talk about giving cats flowers. We always talk about doing that while they're here, you know, and it's a shame. Um, Let me not even say it's a shame. That was the will. That was the way this journey was supposed to go, and I'm fortunate enough to say that I'd seen it and I witnessed it. Uh, Good brother Malcolm Jamal Warner's journey, parts of it that he cared to share with us. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful. So with that being said, man, give your boy your flowers today, whoever that may be in your life, not just your boy, the women in your life, whoever, man. Just, you never know, what I'm saying, because we can't control will. Will is going to do what it's got to do. All we can do is do our part and accept what is. You feel me? So what's up, Mannish Monday, man? A lot of things went on over the course of last week and the weekend. Um, you know, I, Again, just trying to spread my wings, and kind of show my ability to maneuver amongst different things. Um, I know nobody talks about this, but I want to talk about it really quick. I'm a NASCAR dude. Like, I watch NASCAR. Now, again, I don't know every single rule. I don't know every single driver. I know most of the drivers, the popular ones, I guess. Um, and I've been watching NASCAR, like, for real. Maybe, I don't know, solid 20 years, maybe. Okay. Um, I remember back in the day when I was a young cat, and my uncle, I think they called it Winston Cup or something like that, back in the day. He got me in. I watched a couple, really wasn't into it, but I watched a couple, and then kind of fell off, got back into it. I don't know why I got into it. I'll tell you why. Um, Brad Daugherty. I found out Brad Daugherty was involved in NASCAR, and that kind of, I'm like, okay, there we go. All right, it's a Brad. All right, all right. Then I found out Jordan Brand was involved with motocross and some gear stuff with NASCAR. And I was like, okay, we making headways. Let me get in. So I'm watching. I can go my live. I don't know what it is about it. I like it. They go fast. They crash. I'm a big fan of the Talladega race, the Daytona race, because you can count on a big crash happening. And so yeah. With that being said, so then here comes um Wallace, right? Bubba Wallace, and he's got the 23 car. So I was looking for some insight. So Jordan is Michael Jordan is an owner of 2311, part owner, him and Danny Hamlin, and they got 2311. So Danny Hamlin runs an 11 car. Um, Wallace runs in the 23 car, but then also Jordan has why I can't remember his name. Uh, Reddick, the 54 car. Right, yeah, that car be clean. Like, hey, they'd be having the Jordan jump man, anything on that type way. But anyway, the big topic is Wallace because he's a black guy, and I don't want to get into the schematics of how black he is. He's a black guy racing in a predominantly white sport, and I've been watching for a while, and I gotta say at this time, if y'all have never seen Grease Lightning with with Richard Pryor, Willie T-Bone, go watch that show, man. Go watch that movie. Awesome flick about him racing and what they used to do to him to make sure he couldn't run and race. And I swear to you, some of that stuff is playing out with Wallace. But aside of that, and his unlucky stuff, dude is never going to win a race. He doesn't have teammates. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to get into the whole, that's a deep dive into NASCAR, but he doesn't have no teammates. He consistency runs between 10 and 20th place. Week after week, he's on the cut of the playoffs. It's every year. If he does lead, he might win a stage here and there. Something happens, bad luck, ignorance. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to say this because I brought it up and because of Malcolm. I'm not putting him on Malcolm. I'm not putting him on any pedestal. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying the grand scheme of things as a black man, bro. I see you, man. I know it ain't easy. I know it ain't easy, and I say that because twofold. One, I know it ain't easy. And then I know it ain't easy because you're a black man trying to do that over there with those folks. And then you light skinned it. You know what I'm saying? So you're always gonna get he ain't got no business over there, or that's he ain't black enough. Just shit that the real life stuff that happens in our community, man. So Wallace, bruh, I'm not giving up on you, but I gotta say, man, that is a tall task of hell you are climbing over there, bruh. You got to get some help, some other drivers, man. Get on the team or some whatever how it works. But routinely I see it unfold in front of my eyes as I watch the race. And it doesn't always pan out the way it needs or should pan out for Bubba. And that's shout out, bro. I see you one day. We're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, bro, I appreciate that you taking the heat, the fire, shrapnel for trying to make this move. You know what I'm saying? They got a young bro, Caruth, racing the trucks, and boy's a savage. He can race his butt off. And we just need to open more doors and make it more visible, make it more attractable, however that may look. I don't know, attractable or attractive in that sport to get more bros in there. You know what I'm saying? Just real talk about hockey. I mean, hockey, we all understand, historically predominantly white, but we got a lot of brothers in there. Kane, he in there. My boy PK Subban was a savage beast. Love that dude. I think he's doing analyst work now on ESPN or one of those channels. Shout out Subban. Dude was a cold savage. I love that dude. But there's some bros in there, and hopefully more and more as we go, we'll get there. See golf. Golf, I wouldn't say got a lot of bros. Just at the minute, like on the I was gonna say LPGA. That's the ladies on the PGA. But they got some up and comers, man, in college. You know what I'm saying? On the lower ranks, boys can play. You know what I'm saying? What's my boy Werner? That's over with the Live. You know what I'm saying? That boy ain't got his bread, and he can still play. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just making our way in the world today takes everything we got. What I'm saying? Takes all of us. So support Bubba, man. If you see him, man, you ain't. I mean, you want to hate on him. That's what people. That's the new thing right now, boy. Boy, cats let it hate. Cats let it hate. If they, my mother used to say, man, misery love company. You know what I'm saying? And that's an ugly thing. It's an ugly thing. I understand it. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? But I try not to partake in that. If I see somebody doing something that I respect, I want to be careful where I tread here because I'm first to say, oh, brother, he a weenie sellout. You know what I'm saying? Scott, the senator, yeah, I'm talking to you. And there's some other cats. But and I want to say this, because we should support them. I want to say this. I'm going to support you as long as you're doing right by the folks. You know what I'm saying? So let me just get into that really quick. Bubba is not out there who writing and screaming for equal rights, social justice. He's out there racing. That's why he was out there racing. You know, um, let's understand this too. Jordan wasn't political. Jordan stayed in the middle of the ground. He never came out and said nothing about nothing. Whereas Muhammad Ali said something about everything. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's everybody's. I'm just saying, if you're not uh, having an opinion, okay, I can accept that. Everybody has that right. But if you are expressing a point of view, an opinion, then you're open. You open yourself up to criticism. And we have a lot of politicians who are black skinned, um, but are not in the business of properly, holistically supporting and encouraging the black community. There's a lot of things that some black skinned politicians do and say uh, are because of their lived experience, which is totally fine. And if you think that way, cool with you. I can't support it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let me say this: if we're talking politics now, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Green, a Whig, or I'm me. You know what I'm saying? And when we talk politics, the problem with politics is, well, there's so many problems with politics, but I think in this particular land, you're driven to uh pick a side and stick with it, accept all goods and bads. You know what I'm saying? Which is unfortunate. There's a lot of good things that can happen in politics, but for whatever reason, well, I know what the reasons are, but because of allyship, lobbyism, um, you know, a lot of the good work is put on the back burner because those other things take precedence, and that's the problem. That's one of the many problems with our politics. I said this before, not maybe on this show, but in political discussions, is every revolution eventually eats itself. You know, this land, America, had a revolution, which is irony at its best. You having a revolution over a land that you don't even have rights to. So that whole revolution, if you will, is quite another deep dive. But again, here we are, and um, so the revolution, again, another deep dive. But it it was to make a change in the political landscape of this country, and then now you see where we are. All these centuries later, and looking at it from up top, you could see, wow, we have outlived, outpaced what that initial theory was, in the sense that when we talk about representation, because we don't live in a democracy, we live in a representative democracy. So we initially, because we want to be a part of a community, we enter into a contract, unsigned, of course, but an agreement that we're going to allow someone else to represent us in politics, in the form of politics, because maybe for whatever reason we don't want to have it, blah, 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 blah. But, and then the way it's signed up with that, just as a domino effect of the many, many problems, shortcomings of our current governmental system. When we start talking about parties and we start talking about representation, when we start talking about funding programs, things of this nature. So it's a lot that goes on to it. But again, I said all of that because I was talking about, making sure we give due respect and flowers to the black folks that's out there. And then I had to check myself because I'm probably not going to give no flowers to Scott, the senator, because he's not about the black folks. I'm sorry, and I think a lot of people who don't know me, if they hear me say something like that or make a statement like that, he's just about black folks. He don't care about that. I know you're a buffoon. So if anybody ever gets a hold of this, oh, he only likes black folks, and it's all right. All right, man, you don't know me. You ain't never had a conversation with me. We have that ability now because of my platform that I'm doing with millions everybody else who has their own platform. It's quick to get a sound bite and then say, oh, he's just this and he just does that, without never even talking to the person, not even understanding their lived experience. So again, that's easy because now you saying, oh, Smith, you're a hypocrite because you just said Scott does this, Scott does that. I'm saying this. What he puts out there, and then his actions would assume that, yeah, I'm kind of right about him. My actions and my words, they go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna always be my black folks first. Let's get it. Not saying nobody else can get it. Not saying nobody else deserves it. Not saying that. I'm saying my black folks, I'm putting all the biscuits in the middle and putting gravy on it to make sure we get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's Mannish Monday, man. Shout out Theodore Huxtable, boy, Theodore Huxtable. Uh, you know, that Theodore Huxtable, man. Again, it's crazy. Thinking like the cat. When I heard it, I was like, "What? Nah, come on, man. What are we talking about?" And only because my mind is just insane, and I try to keep it under wraps. I try to work through these things that I think, and I'm like, man, the organic nature. We're sitting here in summer of 2025, and physically, we do not have Mike Jackson, Prince, Luther, now Malcolm, and there's many other wonderful folks. But Putin is alive. I don't even like saying that dude's name, but the president, that's the current president of the United States, is alive. Netanyahu is alive. It's like, come on, man. Who's who's in charge of the numbers? That's all I'm saying. Who's in charge of this number system? We got to get to the bottom of this. It's upside down and backwards. You feel me? It's upside down and backwards. Now, I gotta, because I'm a big believer in karma and the circle of the earth and all the energy. I gotta be careful. My number could be coming up like at 19. I could be 20. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do what I gotta do while I'm here. But damn, when I heard it, I thought that, and I'm like, man, come on. Our number system has to work better. I don't know if we're going base 10 or base 20 or what we're doing, but damn, come on, man. Let's rethink it. Mannish Monday, man. It's the middle of July. I know some of y'all are hot, some is humid. Actually, over here on the West Coast, the best coast, it's actually been quite pleasant. I think we've had a couple 100-degree days, and since then, like lately, the last week or two, it's been breezy. 75 degrees, a little overcast. I'm not complaining because I know August is right around the corner, September's right around the corner. It is going to be blazing. So if you're out there and you're listening to me and you can hear me, shout out to you. Get some water in you. Take a break, get in the shade. And if you're here on the West Coast, the best coast, man, live it up. Take advantage of this cool weather. Go outside, have a picnic outside, do something. You enjoy the outside because I'm sure we're going to crank these ACs up pretty soon here. Folks, enjoy your Mannish Monday. Brothers, be a man today. You know, I don't know what that looks like for you. I can't describe that for you. I know for me, I want to be the absolute best man I can be. And I got to start with loving myself. And I got to start with extending grace and forgiveness. I have to accept what I can't accept or what I can't control, I should say. Um, you know, and understand, you know, my role and my position in this capsule that my bones and my flesh and blood and my internal organs are occupying. And as we maneuver, I got to make sure that I'm utilizing the capsule for the right thing, trying to do the right thing. And then sometimes I slip up because I'm human, no excuse. And I don't purposely go in to say I'm gonna slip up and then I can use I'm a human as an excuse. I don't do that. But I do have to recognize that I'm not perfect. Sometimes I want to be, and I'm not, and it's cool. I'm all right with it. You know what I'm saying? Mannish Monday, beautiful people, man. You know I love you. How we get up out of here? As always, go have a conversation with someone that doesn't look like you and doesn't sound like you. And if you shut up and listen, you just might learn something. Beautiful Black people. Until next time, I love.
Shout out Bird. Hey. These people do not understand. I'm moving as fast as I can. Sending my prayers to God. He doing whatever he can.